there was so much fear that was put into this eclipse that I said, something's not right with this eclipse. I've had nothing but negative experience with the 12D Pleiadians, as far as taking my energy, my identity, causing problems.
All right, so we have Iris Jackson, all right, the Oracle.
Yes, during this eclipse, prior to it, there was a lot of fear that was induced. We were told to prepare food. The electricity may not be working. They called the National Guard. Schools were canceled. There was so much fear that was put into this eclipse that I said, something's not right with this eclipse, because I've been a part of other eclipses, and it's like a beginning. It's a way to increase your discernment, increase your knowledge. It is a positive, natural occurring thing. So finally, when I saw Peter on Disclosures with Jessica Morocco, and he but said it was not organic. And I said, that's exactly correct, because that is exactly how I feel. The fear was the energy that was being stolen from us. You know, the loosh, how that happens, and they do things to take our energy. Now, the 2017 eclipse was when I was awoken spiritually, is the best way I can explain it. I was asking questions during that eclipse as to why I've been taught this information. What can I do to learn the truth? You know, why am I here? You know, all the questions that we all want to know. And from my feet to the top of my head, I got a full body vibration of this has never happened. And I felt it travel all the way up my body, out the top of my head, and my body started shaking. And it's just like all this energy came into me, and it was something very new to me. And after this eclipse, I couldn't read enough information. I obtained so much knowledge. I learned the truth. I learned how to discern. I started getting visions and messages. This is what an eclipse should do to people who are on that spiritual path, or that path to learn the truth. It awakens the truth within you so that you can discern what you've been taught, what they're telling you. You'll know right away that's not true. So that is how an organic eclipse should occur. And also, what I found out is that the technology is now here to fake an eclipse. And that took me totally off guard, because they've taken something that's natural and occurring, and it's something that we as humans need, and they've duplicated it, but it's not real. So I've also seen where people they were wondering, where did the moon come from? For example, it's like right before the eclipse actually touched or made impact, the moon appears. But prior to that, the moon was not there. You should have been able to see the conjunction or them merging together, but you didn't see it until it was time for it to actually touch. So that was something else. But I have to just reiterate that when Peter and Jessica talked about it, it was confirmation for me. And I was given like, I would say maybe enlightenment. It helped me do that article, because everything that's in that article came from here. You know, the only thing that I actually looked up was when it talked about the 2 rockets that NASA's fired off. I have a quote in there about fear. And fear is an unknown. And we've been conditioned to fear something that we don't know exists. You know, it's like once something exists, then we make a determination if it's something that we should, you know, fight or flight or something like that. But this fear is being induced and we don't know why. So that is a particular quote that is being highlighted right now. And it's the best way to explain fear. And if you can understand that quote, you won't be immersed in fear again, because you know it's just a means to give off a energy that negatives use, and we don't want to give our energy away. So that is my take on the eclipse. And I think that we need to be prepared and be aware that the next eclipse, it could be false also, because you should be able to get a feeling from it. Like I say, it's a spiritual thing. And if you don't get that from it and things aren't right, like this particular one on April 8th was 4 minutes and 28 seconds. You know, some have been longer, but you know, that wasn't a right amount of time. You know, they're like really short. This was one of the longer ones, and it just wasn't natural, is about the best way that I can explain it, you know? So, and, you know, CERN was opening up, you know, they were doing, you know, it's like everybody was doing so much to add so much to this eclipse that there's no way that it could have been real. Lastly, the gentleman that discovered the God particle, you know, he passed during this eclipse. And in my article, I talk about, you know, there's always a sacrifice, you know, and he's the one that discovered that the Higgs boson is what it's called, the God particle. And, you know, so during this eclipse, he's gone. So I just think that we, as a people, as humanity, we need to start paying attention to the things that are being done to us to steal our energy, to cover up the truth, and realize that things are being done to us just so that they can see what they can get away with. You know, like the thing, what they can get away with. You know, if they could tell you to do something and you do it, then they're like, that's what we wanted. And so we need to just start paying attention more.
You started your article with, according to Peter the Insider on Disclosure, Jessica and Morocco, the eclipse on April 8th was not an organic event.
Correct.
He attributed all to the 12D Pleiadians. What did you feel as an oracle when you heard Peter sharing this, that the 12D Pleiadians was buying that, you know, fake event?
It rang true to me, because I've had nothing but negative experience with the 12D Pleiadians, as far as taking my energy, my identity, causing problems, because I'll see visions and dreams of things that are going on. And a lot of times, especially with Jessica's help, I've been able to get through them and find out, because it's important for you to find out who's the cause of it, what entity is the cause of it. And the 12D Pleiadians, very negative faction, and there's nothing good with them. Nothing. If they're found in your space, your dream space, your visions, your auric field, it's nothing but negative. And you need to do what you can to clear them, break ties, and get rid of them, because it's nothing good. Like I said, they've taken my identity. I've seen myself in different aspects looking different, and there's always someone off to the side, and it is them, you know. With the help of Jessica, I've been able to figure out these things. She's been very instrumental in helping me to understand and see my visions, because I see a lot of things as an oracle that are affecting, like, towards humanity, individual people and groups. And she's been very helpful with me to get them cleared up. And she's good at clearing portals, entities. She knows her stuff.
Big shout out, all right, to Jessica Marocco, all right. Oh yeah. And as well, you know what I'm saying? Good team members, good individual. You know what I'm saying? I gotta say, very good individual. All right, and shout out as well to Peter. Probably for the new audience, 12D are responsible for several stuff. Peter and Jessica mentioned they burnt, all right, the Alexandrian library. They brought the wars on the indigenous people, all right, on the American, I gotta say American continent, because I definitely related to this, all right, which was translated as the conquest of the so-called New World. They brought the concept of excessive loss, all right, and the whole pornography, all right, concept in which now Charles and Monarch are really just governing this. So there's a lot of other, I gotta say, example of what the 12D Pleiadians brought on Earth. Yeah, that as well, the mud flood. So you mentioned they stole your identity. Would you mind explaining one example or one experience in which they altered or they invaded your space? All right.
What happened is I saw myself on a table and some things were being done to me, and then I saw myself like on a beach, wearing different clothes, going here and there, just doing all these different things. And I'm like, this is not me. And I made it a point that whenever I'm in these dreams or seeing these visions, to take a look at myself, whether I look at my hand or I look for a mirror or say there's a mirror to see what I look like. And I had, blonde hair. I didn't look like myself. I had some of my features and I'm like, this is not me, but I feel that it's me. And I couldn't understand it. And so when I talked with Jessica, and that's when we found out that my identity was stolen, so to speak, and that I was being used, and someone was pretty much enjoying my energy and my identity and just traveling around. It sounds real, real crazy, like they're traveling around the United States or something like that. But no, they were astrally traveling around. And when your energy and your identification, yourself, is being used this way, whatever that Pleiadian is doing, it is something that you're going to have to clear, because you become responsible for it, because it's in essence you. So if they've done something and taken children, or if they've did some other things to other people, you have to do what you can to clear that. And I'll usually ask that if there's any innocents that were hurt during this time, I ask that they be cleared, that they be healed 100%, because this 12D Pleiadian is no longer responsible, because they've used my energy and they've used my identity. So I have to clear it up. But that's just one example, and it escapes me right now, but there are more. But that is the main one, which is the first one that I came in contact with, because I was like, it had to be explained to me, how can someone do this, or an entity or a being do this, when I didn't get permission? I didn't let them do this. But when you're in the dream state, unless you learn to become aware, there are many things that will happen that you don't have control over. That's why we have to learn how to control and be aware during our dreams. That when we see something, that we look at it and get the details of what they look like, what they were doing, what they said, so that we can get to a point where we can clear it while it's happening. But if not, when we awake, we can clear it.
These is a depiction of the 12D Pleiadians, all right? Whether you might know it as, for example, Ashtor, or whenever, the concept is being a savior, these are, signatures of the 12D Pleiadians. Thank you, Iris, for sharing this, all right? And as an oracle, Iris, you mentioned the fear induced for the eclipse.
But where the path of the eclipse with all the towns named Nineveh, and it where the one from 2017 and the one on April 8th connected, it's a town called Rapture. And we know the 12D Pleiadians were pushing that, like the 7 plagues, that happened on the Israelites. So, they're trying to, to push that, that apocalyptic thing. I do want to add, there's something else that Peter had said, which I wasn't aware of. And there was a point in time where I needed some healing. And I got messages in the astral that you need to heal yourself. And then there's some things going on with you. And I saw myself carrying a copper pyramid. And and I was told to sit underneath this pyramid and meditate, and it would heal me. And in the vision or the dream, I saw myself sitting down and I was looking up at the pyramid. So there came a point in time where I asked Jessica about it. I said, yeah. I said, I was told I need healing and I need to get under a copper pyramid. And she said, yes, that's true. That's what Peter says. And so it worked. I didn't have the copper pyramid, so I did the next best thing. I used visualization in my meditation that I was underneath the copper pyramid, and I asked to be healed. And I'm fine now. But he gives a lot of information that, if you listen, you will find to be true, and they'll help you on your journey. I'm one of the ones, my confirmation has come through messages and visions in my dreams that confirm what he has said. And so I'm very happy that he gives out the information because we need it.
Iris, in her newsletter, she's only validating what Peter the Insider from the ACIO brought up, in which he mentioned that the 12D Pleiadians created that fake eclipse on April 8th, all right, of 2024.